Good morning, I'm Mariam Namazi and you're watching Startup. Welcome back, you're watching Startup with me, Mariam Namazi. Now, as investors shy away from the stock markets, they could be in for a bargain in the aviation business. Europe's biggest show of the year is on in Geneva, and as Ryan Shilcoat reports, private jets may be making a comeback.
If you're looking for a jet, Geneva's airport is the place to be. Only these planes aren't taking off, they're for sale, and in some cases on sale, at least for now. This is a buyer's market.
2 years ago, you had to pay a premium of $9 to $10 million for a BBJ Boeing business jet, okay? Well, these premiums have gone by the wayside. You can have airplanes that are available, and you get them at a very good discount today.
In 2007, the business jet business was booming. For the first time ever, the business aviation industry delivered more than 1,000 brand new jets to jet setters around the world. 2008 was even better. But in 2009, as the recession raged, the overall market went into free fall. What happened? In November 2008, the chief executives of America's 3 biggest car makers took their private jets to a congressional hearing to ask for a bailout. That didn't go down well, politicians saying it smacked of arrogance and excess, one comparing them to men in tuxedos in a soup kitchen. All of a sudden, the business jet had become an image liability. Cessna lost close to half its workforce.
Domestically in the United States, we had a terrible time with the general perception and some of the rhetoric that came out of the administration around business jets in particular. It had a devastating effect. We saw customers, corporations start to hide from use of business jets.
The industry's message now, business jets aren't bling, they're a tool. Cessna says things are improving, so does Gulfstream, especially when it comes to demand for its hottest new plane, set to start flying in 2 years.
Well, if you were to order a 650 today, you'd pay around $64 million, and of course that's without escalation. And your delivery would be sometime in 2016.
If you can settle for something a little simpler, you can pick up a plane today at a discount, but you might want to move quietly.
Well, we can now cross live to Ryan Shilcoat, who's in Geneva for us. Ryan.
Yeah, we are at the air show here. This is the biggest collection of business jets you will find in Europe. There's a total of 65 here. Now, it is just 7:20 in the morning, but we do have 2 guests, the 2 organizers of this conference, with us today. Thank you very much for joining us. Let me introduce you. Obviously, we have from the EBAA, Brian Humphries, and from the NBAA, representing basically your U.S. counterpart, Ed Bolen. Ed, let me start by asking you, you know, I said there in my piece that there's this sense, you're trying to project this message that business jets are a tool for CEOs, that they're not bling. There's going to be a lot of skeptical people out there. You know, when these planes go for $40 million, you could buy an awful lot of first-class tickets for that, couldn't you?
Well, the reality is very different than the stereotype. The fact is, companies are using business airplanes to do things they can't do on the commercial airlines. They're going to communities with little or no airline service. They're trying to move teams of people and have them talk about proprietary information en route. They're doing multiple stops in a single day. They may be moving equipment that can't go onto a commercial airplane. So the stereotype is really at odds with the reality of what business aviation is all about. In fact, most of the companies are small and mid-sized companies, about 85%.
Right?
Yeah, we've just got some new figures in Europe that show that 70% of the flights are to airports that have no service by the airlines at all. So we're not in competition with the airlines, we complement it.
Right, let me ask you, a lot of people talked about deals. We heard from several buyers here that this is a buyer's market. Is that the case?
Yeah, we've seen a fantastic reduction in prices. We've seen as much as 50% off the price of used aircraft. So it's a pretty good time to buy an aircraft if you're in the market today.
Not all the planes, though, Ed.
Yeah, some of the larger cabin airplanes have held their value, but the mid-size and smaller airplanes have dropped pretty precipitously and are down fairly low.
And I want to ask you, a lot of people talking about the industry improving ever so slightly, perhaps, but no one here talking about boom times or recovery. What exactly are you seeing in the United States?
Well, in the United States, I think we can say things have quit getting worse. And I think I can see a little bit of a recovery, but you have to squint.
The same in Europe. I mean, we didn't see quite such a big downturn. We saw about a 15% downturn last year. We're seeing an increase now, 10% up last month in the use of business aircraft.
And the ash cloud, we just have about 15 seconds. Is it helpful to have a business jet when there's ash in the air?
Well, 35% reduction in traffic with business jets, 55% in airlines, because we can go around the clouds.
Get around. Okay.
Yeah.
Flexibility.
Flexibility.
Again, Mariam, we are at the biggest show of private jets in Europe. 65 aircraft out here, hundreds, thousands of people coming out to see them. We'll be here all day taking a look at some of the most expensive and fastest business jets out there. Back to you.
And I know you'll be doing the same. Exciting stuff, Ryan Shilker. Thanks very much. Okay, time for a break now. When we come back, we look at another luxury of the rich, but this one fits in your backyard. As Greece commits to a very savage austerity package and cuts wages and pensions, find out how they're going to recoup the billions in tax revenues lost.